The cruel irony of avoidant psychology is that when they finally recognize what they've lost and desperately want another opportunity to love you properly, their terror of being rejected becomes so overwhelming it paralyzes them into inaction. They're caught in psychological hell where their desire for reconnection battles their inability to risk the vulnerability that asking for a second chance would require. Their fear of your rejection has become stronger than their love for you, keeping them trapped between wanting you back and being unable to pursue you. They're terrified you'll give them what they gave you. Avoidants live in constant fear that if they reach out for a second chance, you'll treat them with the same emotional coldness, dismissiveness, and rejection they showed you during your relationship. They're projecting their own behavior patterns onto you and assuming you'll be equally cruel. This projection terror includes expecting you to ignore their attempts at contact, dismiss their feelings as irrelevant, or respond with the same indifference they displayed when you were trying to connect with them. They fear experiencing the receiving end of their own treatment. The psychological torture comes from knowing they deserve whatever coldness you might show them, making the potential rejection feel like justified punishment rather than simple incompatibility. They're afraid of karmic justice delivered through your response. They know they don't deserve a second chance. Their fear of rejection is intensified by their awareness that they forfeited their right to another opportunity through their own behavior. They recognize they hurt you deliberately, took your love for granted, and destroyed something beautiful through their defensive patterns. This unworthiness recognition makes asking for a second chance feel presumptuous and entitled. They're terrified you'll point out their hypocrisy, how they can ask for forgiveness they never offered, or patience they never provided. The fear includes knowing that a rational person would reject them based on their track record alone. They have no evidence to offer that they've changed or grown, making their request feel like manipulation rather than genuine transformation. They're afraid of confirming their worst fears. Reaching out for a second chance risks confirming their deepest fear that they're fundamentally unlovable and that anyone who truly knows them will eventually reject them. Your potential no would validate every negative belief they have about themselves. This confirmation terror makes them prefer the uncertainty of not asking to the certainty of being rejected. As long as they don't try, they can maintain hope that you might say yes, but attempting contact risks destroying that hope forever. They're more afraid of having their unworthiness confirmed than they are motivated by their love for you, keeping them trapped in psychological limbo where they want you but can't risk discovering they can't have you. They can't handle another abandonment, having already lost you once through their own patterns. Avoidants are terrified of experiencing another abandonment that would feel even more devastating because it would be your conscious choice rather than their self-sabotage. Being actively rejected feels worse than passively losing someone. This abandonment terror is amplified because they've realized how much you actually meant to them. Losing you again after recognizing your value would create pain they don't believe they could survive, psychologically. The fear includes knowing that being rejected by you would feel like losing their last chance at genuine love and happiness. They see you as their potential salvation, making your rejection feel like spiritual death. They're afraid you'll see through their performance. Avoidants fear that if they reach out, you'll recognize their request as another manipulative attempt to regain control rather than genuine transformation. They're terrified you've learned to see through their emotional performances and won't be fooled by promises or declarations. This performance anxiety stems from knowing they haven't actually changed significantly and that their desire for a second chance might be based on missing what you provided rather than loving who you are. They fear you'll call out their continued selfishness. They're afraid you've developed immunity to their charm and manipulation tactics, making their attempts at reconnection feel pathetic rather than compelling. Your potential insight into their patterns feels threatening rather than hopeful. They know you've grown beyond them. The time apart has likely involved your personal growth and healing from their treatment, while they've remained stuck in the same patterns that destroyed your relationship. They fear you've evolved beyond their emotional capacity and that they're no longer compatible with who you've become. This growth gap terror includes recognizing that you've probably developed stronger boundaries, higher standards, and better relationship skills while they've stagnated in their dysfunction. They feel inferior to your evolved state. The fear extends to knowing that your growth makes you less likely to tolerate their limitations or accept their excuses. They're afraid the person they want back is no longer someone who would want them back. They're paralyzed by the stakes. The importance of this potential second chance creates paralyzing pressure where they feel like they only get one opportunity to say the right thing, make the right impression, and convince you they've changed. The stakes feel too high for imperfect execution. This pressure paralysis includes obsessing over what to say, when to reach out, and how to present themselves in ways that maximize their chances of acceptance while minimizing risk of immediate rejection. They're afraid that one wrong word or poorly timed contact will destroy any possibility of reconciliation forever, making them endlessly delay action while perfect conditions never materialize. They fear your indifference more than your anger. While they're prepared for potential anger or hurt from you, they're terrified of encountering complete indifference that would prove they no longer matter to you at all. Anger suggests you still care. Indifference suggests you're completely over them. This indifference terror makes them prefer the fantasy that you still think about them to the reality that you might have moved on completely. Discovering you're genuinely unaffected by their absence would be more devastating than active rejection. They're afraid that reaching out will reveal they've become completely irrelevant to your emotional world, making their love feel pathetic and their regret meaningless. They can't risk hope being destroyed. As long as they don't reach out, they can maintain hope that reconciliation might be possible. Attempting contact risks destroying the hope that's keeping them psychologically functional, replacing it with definitive knowledge that you're done with them forever. This hope preservation includes preferring uncertainty to certainty, if certainty means confirmed loss. They'd rather live in painful possibility than peaceful impossibility. The cruel paradox, the deepest cruelty, is that their fear of rejection prevents them from taking the very action that might lead to the second chance they desperately want. Their love for you has made them too afraid of losing you to risk trying to regain you. They want a second chance but are paralyzed by fear of your rejection because they know they don't deserve forgiveness, can't handle another abandonment, and are terrified of having their unworthiness confirmed by someone whose opinion matters more than anyone else's ever has.